is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. This time with some information about diet, weight gain, weight loss, food, whatever you name. I receive a lot of questions from you guys, and I wanted to take the time to answer all these questions about cheat days and how to get lean and whatnot, but I'm not alone. I actually called in some backup. My friend Rob Marino. Rob, thank you so much for doing this. Rob is a personal trainer. He owns his own gym, and I think he is the person that tried pretty much every single diet. He also has a YouTube channel. Go check him out. I'll leave the link down in the description. He documents when he does the diets, and he's a fitness and food fanatic, so the perfect person to do that. And I'm going to get on a call with him right now, so we're gonna answer all your questions together. We're live. Rob is here. Rob, thank you so much for doing this with me.
No problem.
Awesome. Like I said, so Rob, you tried every diet under the planet. You also, you used to be a fat kid, right? You lost
how much? I lost almost 100 pounds, like 95 pounds. So
95 pounds?
Yeah, I used to be 275. This was like almost like 10 years ago, when I was doing competitive strongman training. 275 pounds, and I was actually trying to be 300 pounds. Like on purpose for a strongman.
That is crazy.
Yeah, just for just the stress of strongman and just like health issues, I was like, I need to lose some weight. And then now I'm like roughly like anywhere from like 190 to 180. So
that's crazy. So almost 100 pounds. Then also you own your own gym. You do personal training. You do online coaching, and you train classes, and you. On the side of that, you're trying new diets all the time, and just to see, because people, I saw your recent video and you explained it there really nicely. People always think there's a quick fix, or there is this one perfect diet that everybody has to do to get to a certain goal, but tell them.
Yeah, it's like, I've done almost every diet, and it's totally gonna be dependent on the person, their digestive system. There's so many different factors that go into it. People are always just like, they'll start a diet, they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever, low carb, and then a couple weeks into it, they're like, you know what, so-and-so is doing high carb, let me switch back to this. And they're like, I didn't lose any weight, let me go back to this. So it's like, there's just so much information nowadays, especially with social media is so huge right now. Like, people have so much information that they're very undecisive about what they want to do. But there's no perfect diet. It's really figuring out what's going to work for you. And I've personally done like the low carb. I've done the high carb. I've done keto. I've done if it fits your macros, intermittent fasting, the zone, all these diets, and they do work. For me personally, they've worked for me. I've gotten down to the same body fat percentage every single time, but it's
so
really like the
you make a good point
of it.
there. Every diet worked for you, correct?
Yeah. So for me personally.
Yeah. So that means like every diet will work when you're consistent with it.
Right. Yeah. That's the main thing. Is like people don't give it enough time. Yeah. Especially with I do online coaching, and people will stick to it for 2 weeks. And they don't get that instant gratification that they want. And they're like, this is not working. Something must be wrong. And then they switch it back up. And then it's just like this constant cycle of just trying new diets. And then they just lose motivation, get discouraged. And then they're just back to where they started.
Change it up and screw it all.
But there's it's really like that consistency. You just got to be very consistent for a long time. For me to lose that 100 pounds, it took 4 years of dieting. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's not quick, and also it's a lifestyle change, and not really okay, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds and then I go back to eating pasta and bread and burgers every day and dessert and all this stuff. So
yeah, people think it's I'm gonna diet for 4 weeks, then I get to enjoy myself and just go back to the way I was eating. But you really learn along the way, just healthier choices, how to balance eating on a diet, and then having a social life, going out to eat with friends. And you just learn a lot of stuff along the way. So don't rush and just enjoy the process. So
you're speaking of balance. So for example, cheat days or days when we eat whatever we want, like, can be part of a healthy diet, correct? Like, you can eat clean, decide to eat clean, and then for one day you just don't care and go, you're like, I'm not talking about, okay, I'm cramping in as many calories as possible. I'm just talking about enjoy yourself, go out with friends, go out with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and like just be you. Like, if you want 2 slices of cheesecake, you'll have it. Right?
Yeah. It does come down to like goals, and like if you have a very specific goal like of weight loss, then obviously it's going to change a little bit. But for most people, like, you're just living a regular life. You're trying to like make healthy choices during the week, and usually like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like that's where you go out, you hang out with friends, you go whatever, exploring, you go out to lunch and stuff. So it's totally normal to like have fun on the weekends, eat, go out to the bar, whatever you're gonna do. But it's just that balance. Like, obviously you can't do that every single day, but
Of course.
it's the balance. And that's why like the word diet is like kind of like, I don't know, like that. When I say diet, it's like you're like, oh, I have to eat chicken, broccoli, rice. But it's just like really that balanced lifestyle. It's just
absolutely.
regular life.
And it's like up to the person or up to your goals, like how you want to structure your balance.
Right.
Like if you want to have maybe a piece of chocolate or, your pancakes in the morning, then obviously you're not having like big cheat days, or it's really comes down to goals and how you want to structure your balance, but there's no right or wrong in that sense, correct?
Yeah, that's where like people kind of get confused because there is so much information out there. It's so and so said you have to eat clean 6 days a week, and then you have that one day off, or so and so said that you can do every single day if it fits your macros. There's really no perfect way to structure it. It's just whatever works best for you. So
that's always the point I'm trying to make, but there's like so much stuff out there. For example, people say you're starving yourself during the week just to binge out. Well, that is like, if people do that, then yes, that's unhealthy. But I feel like obviously if you're having a cheat day and let's say you're eating like 6,000 or 7,000 calories, you cannot continue to eat maintenance for like if you didn't have cheat days. Right.
Yeah, it's people are entitled to their own opinions and everything, but like it's not like, obviously like you said, like if you're like depriving yourself so much and then like really going on like crazy like binge, then obviously there's some other issues there. But for the most part, it's like everyone's just maintaining or in a slight caloric deficit and then enjoying themselves on the weekend. Because like you said, like you can't have like a day of eating whatever you want every single day.
No, exactly.
Just for health reasons. But it's tricky with all the
information or claims even
right
like, out there. Like it's crazy what reaches me sometimes.
I mean, so I get questions all the time about it too, like especially coming from our perspective. Like, we're doing cheat days and days of eating whatever we want, but we're also doing it for like entertainment purposes, right?
Very good point.
So we're kind of, it's a little bit more of a blown up situation than normal life, because if you weren't walking around with a camera and like filming and making a YouTube video, you're probably not going to eat as much as we do when we're having our cheat days. It's probably going to be something laid back, like going out on a Friday night, having a cheeseburger, some French fries, a milkshake, or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But because we're in the entertainment, like kind of making videos, we're trying to make it more engaging, trying new restaurants. So it's a little bit,
blown up, like you said. Yeah.
It's a little bit more than what like a typical person's.
No, absolutely. Like the whole entertainment point is very important. It like, because there's so much content out there, it forces us to do new things and try new things, maybe eat more. And I mean, it got to the point where there's some crazy stuff out there, and it's just you have to try to make it interesting, and without killing yourself on the way. I people always ask like, what is the benefits and like let me call it cost of cheat days? Like, isn't it horrible to only have looking forward to one day and then having to like eat like boring or like healthy foods all the time?
Yeah, it's for me personally, like I enjoy eating healthy or diet foods.
Same. Yeah.
It's not like this like negative thing where I'm like, oh, tomorrow I have to go back to eating like chicken and rice or whatever I'm making for the week. Like I feel like after like a cheat day, especially, like I'm ready to like, it's a recharge, and I'm like ready to go back into regular eating, and I had my fun on the weekends, and now it's time to just be in the caloric deficit or just maintenance. And people think like, oh my God, they're depriving themselves and they're not getting enough nutrition, yada yada yada. But it's really just that balanced lifestyle that we're talking about. So
exactly. And also I think for me personally, it helps my training. Like it boosts my training immensely, like better than when I just eat on like maintenance. It like gives me that extra kick, like 2-3 days after even.
Right. Yeah, because when you're basically in a caloric deficit, you have to think about like, if you're in a caloric deficit, for most parts, you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to lower your body fat percentage. And a caloric deficit basically just means that you're not eating enough to maintain your current body weight. So if you're trying to be like, if you're trying to increase performance for like weightlifting, bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever, you can't be necessarily in a caloric deficit and see improvements. But when we do have these cheat days, or these, you can even call them refeeds or carb loading, you get this huge burst of energy. Like I train on my cheat days, but the days after, like the 3 days after, I have this huge spike of energy because I have like basically just get refilled. So like if you think about like during the week you're in a caloric deficit, you're basically like a sponge that's wrung out.
Yeah.
And then you have that cheat day and you're like totally filled back up. So you do get a huge spike of energy. And my best training days are literally like the 3 days after the cheat day.
Same. Like this is the best where I can improve weights or like reps, like where I feel really good. That's why personally I like it for training, and it also I feel it's motivating because sometimes it gets, especially when you feel a little deprived, like later in the week, like for example Thursday or Friday, it gives me that motivation. I just was like, oh, I can't do it.
So it can be like slightly motivating too, because like you're like, all right, Saturday I'm gonna have my day of eating whatever I want. So and it's like Thursday, Friday, you're getting a little bit tired through the week. You're like, I shouldn't go to the gym today. And then you're like, know what, tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Let me just get in the gym, kick some butt, and it'll be all worth it. And I would say though, like if you are gonna do that cheat day, definitely like train that day and the days after. I see like the biggest mistake I see, like people that want to do a cheat day and they ask me about it, they're like, they'll do their cheat day, but then they won't work out for like a couple days after.
Oh really?
And I'm like, well, you're not reaping the benefits of that like carb up, you know?
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Like me personally, I do not train on cheat days. It's like my rest day because I'm training a whole week. But Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, you'll find me in the gym. And I'm really enjoying the time in the gym actually too. But speaking of like getting into cheat days, like how I feel like people ask for a manual to do cheat days. There is not really a manual, but is there maybe do's and don'ts? Like for example, I know some people that do like outrageous cheat days. They fast 2 days before and 3 days after, or 2 days after. I'm like, I personally find that a little purpose defeating because that's getting back to starving yourself to have 1 day of food.
I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure there is a religion where you do fast multiple days, and then there's like a feast, almost like Thanksgiving or something like that, and then followed by more fasting. Which, if you're doing that for like religious purposes, obviously that's okay. But doing multiple like some people tell me all the time, like they fast like 3 days just to enjoy like 1 day. I'm like, it's like you're probably doing more damage with those those long periods of fasting. Because I personally did on my channel a 72-hour fast.
I saw that. What's your thoughts on fasting? Like
basically, when I did that was 72 hours. Quick math. What is that? 3 days?
Yeah, it was 3 days. Yeah, insane.
So I couldn't work out. So like 3 days, I could not work out. I didn't have enough energy to even like move from my couch. So if you're trying to like reap the benefits of a carb up or a refeed, and then you just like lay on the couch for 3 days because like you don't have enough energy,
fasting,
then you know, yeah. I mean, fasting can be beneficial. But like long periods of fasting, like multiple days, that's where it gets a little bit. There's less science behind that. Like, do you personally fast before?
No.
When you fast?
So I usually like I don't fast. I'll probably not have my desserts. Like sometimes I will have after dinner like a enlightened ice cream bar. Or some yogurt and strawberries. I might not have that. But sometimes I even do have that because I'm like, you know, I'm like in a deficit regardless, so I might as well have that. I never really fast. Like the only time I fast is today, Sunday, where I fast until dinner. So I don't eat the whole day until dinner time, and then I have like a usual like smaller meal. And then I just eat normal back on Mondays. So I personally tell people that obviously if you want to incorporate cheat days like regularly, you should maybe eat in a like slight caloric deficit if you don't want to gain like weight. Other than that, I necessarily wouldn't recommend fasting before and after. Like I mean you can, but did you do that?
The only time, I mean, I periodically fast for like because like I said, I've done every diet, and I've done regular intermittent fasting where you fast 16 hours a day and then you eat 8 hours a day, and that's a great way to like lose more body fat and kind of structure your day so it's not like you know, because some people just don't like eating like a typical bodybuilder like 6 meals a day. Like some people just don't have the time for that. So people that are really busy and have a crazy work schedule or just like a workload, sometimes it's easier to fast and then just it's usually like 3 or 4 meals, and you just spread it out through an 8-hour window. And I bounce around between that, but the only time I'm ever fasted like crazy for cheat days is, again, coming from our perspective when we're trying to make like make a video like 10,000 calories, 15,000 calories, especially the 20,000 calories. Like I think I fasted before. Because, like, I mean, if you eat your regular calories the day before, like, you already have food in your stomach. You're not going to be able to eat as much when you wake up. And, I mean, 20,000 calories is ridiculous. So, I fasted, I think, like, 20 hours prior and at least 20 hours post.
After,
just because there was so much food in my stomach. Like, my body needed time to digest and just, like, relax a little bit. But other than that, like, the most I'll ever fast would be the traditional 16 hours. So regular intermittent fasting though is beneficial for
my dad lost a lot of weight on it too, and it like hurt that a lot. That's easier for people because they can have more food because it's in a short amount of window. So maybe they only have 2 meals, but these meals seem bigger because it's only 2 meals. So I think like fasting could definitely help. I sometimes intermittent fast because I just don't get to eat earlier. So I don't mind fasting at all. But I never do fast just to eat. You know?
Because basically that 8-hour window. I mean, the longer if you wake up at like, if I wake up at 4 a.m. If I wake up at 4 a.m. and I have my first meal and I don't go to bed until like whatever 8 p.m. like that's a long day, and I would have to make my meals very, very small and like 6 of them. And basically, when you just shorten your eating window, then you just make your meals a little bit bigger. And then the extreme version of that would be, it's called the OMAD diet, 1 meal a day. That's where people like fast like 23 hours, and then they have just like, you see it on Instagram, like it's kind of more for like, it got popular because of like Instagram. People were like, make these huge plates and be like, all right, I saved all my calories, and they have like a big bowl of cereal or whatever they're doing. But regular intermittent fasting is great.
When we talk about exercise, so it's, I mean, I guess it's the internet. You can never win, right? So when people say, "Oh, you're training too much. You're not training enough. You're doing too much cardio. You're doing too much weightlifting." Like, what is your take on exercise? How much is too much? Is there too much exercise? I mean, you're gonna run a half marathon, so I would say that's a lot of cardio. But again, like, is there too much, and when is it too much?
This is where like everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone's gonna do their own research, and there's I mean, for anything, diet, exercise-wise, whatever, like, you're going to find articles on either side. But you really just got to figure it out for yourself, and it's just a bunch of trial and error. So, like, back to diets, like, every diet that I've done worked for me, but it might not work at all for you. So you have to, it's basically process of elimination. You got to try low carb, see what happens. In 6 weeks, it's not working for you. You try another diet. And then until you find that perfect diet that fits your lifestyle and benefits you with working out and all that, then it's like you dial it in, you found what works for you. And same thing for exercise.
Yeah.
People are always like, I know, especially like as a young kid, like when I first started working out, like 12 years old, I didn't know what to do. So like we just got like weights in the basement and just like doing curls and like doing whatever. And you're looking up on Google, it's like bodybuilding workouts. And then you just follow whatever you find. But you got to find what works for you, what basically works for your goals if you have specific goals. And as far as volume goes, it has to be like a slow accumulation. Like I personally now work out like maybe 2-3 hours a day,
which is for a normal person, a lot.
For a normal person, they're like, what are you, nuts?
Yeah.
That's they'll be like, that's overtraining.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I put this new thing out that I'm running a half marathon. People are like, oh, you're gonna get injured, yada yada yada. Yeah. But I've been training 3 hours a day for like the last like 10 years, ever since strongman.
Yeah.
So my body has adapted slowly for that training volume.
Yeah.
Now, if you're totally new to exercise and then you jump into like 3 hours of training, obviously it's not going to work out. You're going to get really, you probably just won't even make it out for the first hour. It's just, you're just not used to it. So you got to let your body accumulate the training. Start with 30 minutes, then you go to 60 minutes, and then, but obviously there's going to be signs and symptoms of overtraining.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone's got their opinions. This is a big one online, for like overtraining. Yeah. But if you're feeling like lethargic, you're feeling like you can't sleep at night, your stomach is upset, and like your resting heart rate is a lot higher than it's supposed to be, then those are like common signs of overtraining.
Okay, well, I don't have that. I have a resting heart rate of 48 sometimes, so.
That's what I have. Yeah, that's what mine is. Mine's like in the 40s.
Yeah, it's
so
like,
if I'm like,
crazy.
If I find myself like not being able to sleep at night, either I took too much pre-workout or I need to take a rest day.
There is really like also, on the other hand side, you don't have to work out 3 hours a day to become fit. Like people have this misconception. I mean, you own a gym.
Right.
You do personal training. You do like, of course, you're more into like fitness than somebody who has a totally different job would be. Yeah. But you can do a good workout in 30 minutes and be fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I just recently, like the last 6 months, like have been like doing like traditional bodybuilding again.
Yeah.
So I own my own gym. It's like a CrossFit gym. So we do high intensity classes that are like, they're an hour long, but like you're not doing like high intensity for this full 60 minutes. It's like periods of high intensity. But when you go to a regular gym, like a commercial gym where people are just doing bodybuilding and things like that, you see a lot of times like people aren't doing much with their 60 minutes of working out.
True, very true, yeah.
They're just like, especially now with like social media, like you do a set and then you look at your phone, check Instagram, 6 minutes go by, then you're like, all right, move next machine, do your arms, and then it's like you didn't really get your heart rate up. But if you're really trying to like, if you're in a time crunch, you have a crazy schedule, you're in college or whatever, like you can get a lot done like
in 30 minutes even
in like 20 minutes. Like if you do like some really serious high intensity interval training, like you can kick your butt in like 20 minutes.
So that's a good point. Like you don't have the time, you make the time.
Right.
And I believe that everybody has the time like to fit workout in somewhere, because I think working out is kind of like self-respect for yourself. You know, you do something good. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your body. So I think like it's also a trial and error. If you want to, you know, sometimes I want to take it easy at the gym. I don't rush myself. So I'm there for like 90 minutes. Like being on the phone sometimes too, but not 6 minutes. So it really depends. Like sometimes I have to rush, so I'm getting done everything in like 1 hour 15. Because I do a lot of cardio. I feel like people always try to find the right and the wrong. And there's so much not even in between. There's just so much right, and there's also so much wrong. It's like Just let people try out their own stuff.
And it goes back to like there's just so much information out there that it's like they're like, what am I gonna do to lose weight? And then they see, especially somebody on Instagram like promoting a certain program. They're like, all right, let me try that. And then just like a diet, they don't stick to it long enough, and then they try this one.
Yeah.
And then they try this exercise program. Then they're like, oh, let me try spinning. Let me try this. But just like the diets, it's trial and error. You got to give it time to see actual, like your body needs to adapt to the new stimulus that you're giving it. So you, like typically you need at least 6 weeks of a program
6 weeks,
to start seeing the results.
Gotcha, okay.
So you need to like not have that urge of like that instant gratification. The best one is like when you're doing sit-ups, you're like you're doing abs, and then you do a quick you could do a quick look, you're like, not there yet. You're like, oh, I just did so many sit-ups. You're like, not there yet.
Now, talking about abs, people always try, like, people, like, asking, for example, I want to lose weight on my stomach. Like, you can't lose, like, fat isolated.
Yeah.
It's not working that way. You have to reduce overall body fat, right?
This is, we can rant all day about all these topics. So
I know, it's so good.
The body fat one is a huge, I get so many questions about this, especially for online coaching.
Yeah.
Might think that you need to lose weight in order to see your abs.
Okay.
But a lot of the times, it's that you don't have enough core muscle to show through, right?
Okay,
So you really need, like, your abdominal wall is not that thick. You need a serious amount of core muscle and a very low body fat percentage to see those abs show through. So a lot of times people don't necessarily need to lose weight at all. They just need to do more strength training, so more resistance training with their abs, which a lot of people don't do. Like people, they want a six pack. The main thing they think about doing is like, all right, I'm gonna do planks and I'm gonna do crunches.
Yeah.
Which that's really not enough resistance. You gotta think about your abs as like doing your biceps or your chest.
Yeah.
You need resistance so that muscle can grow.
Yeah.
So even just doing like you take a plate and you do sit-ups with the plate just to add a little resistance.
Okay. Yeah.
You do like I don't know if you've ever used it, but it's like a Roman chair. It's like you put your elbows on it, your legs hang. You put a dumbbell between your feet and you do like knees to chest with a dumbbell.
Sounds horrible.
It's
so
like
bad.
so that's a huge thing, and still you need a very low body fat percentage.
Exactly.
So your whole body needs to basically get leaner. You can't you can't have like really unless you're like completely like totally genetically gifted that you have like really fat arms and like a jacked stomach. I don't think I've ever met anybody that has that, but like you just need your whole body fat percentage to go down. So
that's exactly it. So isolated fat loss is just not possible. Like your body will, like it depends on your body where you lose your fat first. So it really like you can train and then like you can train abs that will definitely help to make them stick out more. But it will not make you lose fat in that particular area because people have been asking me that too. And
I think people get all excited about what do? They do like they wrap their stomach in saran wrap.
Yeah, like weird stuff. Or like, what is your opinion on these belts like that you see Kim Kardashian wore? The waist, like I don't know where you
it's like a waist trainer or something like that.
Yeah.
These are all just like fad like things to. I mean, the whole fitness industry is like it's pretty bad because they're just trying to sell you like anything. They just use big names to be like, oh, Kim Kardashian used this waist trainer. Look at her. And then the photos are totally photoshopped. And
of course.
It's just, you know.
And I just wanted to ask, speaking of like a fitness industry in general, like waist trainers, like also supplements. Like people might think, okay, in order to get fit, I need like protein, pre-workout, BC. I personally don't think you need any of this to do a decent training to get decent results.
They're called supplements for a reason because you're supposed to supplement it into your regular diet if you're not requiring enough through whole foods. So if someone's like a nurse and they're like running around the hospital like 16-hour shifts, obviously they can't meal prep and like sit down, relax and have their meal. So they need to rely on supplements like a protein shake to have a meal replacement.
Yeah.
Or if somebody has like vitamin or mineral deficiencies and your doctor tells you to take X, Y, or Z, then you buy that supplement. But for the most part, if you have a well-balanced whole food diet where you're having fruits, vegetables, lean sources of protein, you're going to get all that you need. The fitness industry is like the most,
you need
like,
to shake.
It's bad. Like I personally, I own a gym. I don't sell any supplements in my gym.
That's crazy.
I don't.
That's good.
The only thing I have that's like on my shelf that collects dust is protein powder, but most people don't buy it because they're getting enough through their diet. And I haven't taken like BCAAs, a multivitamin, like fish oil pills, or like protein shakes regularly in like years, like since I was a kid. Because when you're totally new to fitness, you're looking at every option out there. You're like, all right, what do I need? Diet plan, nutrition. Okay, go to GNC. I need pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout, BCAAs, fish. You're gonna spend hundreds of dollars a month
for things you can actually acquire through your diet,
just use that. Save yourself some money and just use that money towards actual food, and you'll get way better results.
And then also another point, I posted a video. My friend, she's actually she competed. She was a bodybuilder, and she's built. As a female, she's built. And a lot of times people ask me oh my god, if I train biceps, do I grow a large biceps? People wish it was that easy. So especially females think they work out once and they're super jacked.
That's I see that a lot with even my own gym. People will associate my gym with okay, so we do a lot of CrossFit. So if you look up a professional CrossFitter, even females, they're shredded. They're big. They got big legs. So people think doing that type of workout is going to make them look like that person, but it's really genetics, how much muscle mass you can have on your body, especially for a female. But also the training plan and the nutrition plan of that particular person. So if you wanted to be I don't know, we'll say who's a professional bodybuilder? I think Phil Heath.
Okay,
So if you ate like him and you trained like him, the chances are you would never look like him because you just don't have his genetics.
Also, you probably don't have his medical.
Right. Yeah. So there's so many other factors that go into this, but females all the time are so scared to do weight training. Because they're I don't want to get bulky, which my wife Jen has been doing CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting for as long as we've been together, so 17 years, and she's 120 pounds. It's she's not jacked. It takes very regimented workout plan and very regimented diet and a very long time to see huge gains like that. Yeah,
especially for females, it's just not also most of the times when you see really jacked females, it's not possible to obtain that or attain that naturally on that note. You have to have some sort of help to grow to that size. So I wanted to ask you, we're already 34 minutes in, but I would be down to do another one if you wanted, but I have another question. So like I said, I'm eating clean and healthy during the week and have this cheat day, and people, say, it's restricting and binging. We covered that. It's not, unless you do it, like we said, you actually starve yourself to eat for one day. But, I wanted to talk about, actually the people who get on stage, the competitions, bodybuilding and all this stuff, especially for females. So what I heard is, first of all, the diet regimen is brutal. They that's starvation. I know from females, so I'm sure it's similar for men too. And Jen did it too, right? Your wife. So you starve yourself down to look like that, and then I heard from friends who did it, they actually have a binge attack after, and they eat and vomit and keep eating.
Right.
So like I feel like this is not talked about.
Right.
At
Yeah.
all.
It's really like, it's kind of like hush hush with like the whole bodybuilder scene, because it's like they're promoting like this, like, oh, you want to look like this, and like they like show you all the good stuff, and like with all the supplements and all that stuff, like they're trying to like paint a really nice picture, but like there's a lot of girls and a lot of guys too that have problems after doing shows, because it is a very strict diet. Like my wife did it for 3 years. She did bikini.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of the day of her show.
Yeah.
On like the multiple shows that she did. Like she looks like a skeleton. She looks so deprived, and she was literally just eating like she had a IFBB. I think that's the
IFBB. Yeah.
She had a bikini professional like coaching her through the whole thing, so she knew what she was doing, but it was very, very strict. And she looked great on stage, and she won all of her shows. But right after the show, it's like, it's known. Like, as soon as you're done with your show, like, you're going out and you're, like, going to whatever restaurant, and, like, you're just eating.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, like, a cycle of where, like, you were deprived for so long that it's, like, starts to, you know, bleed into, like, having, like, you know, these eating disorders. And, but yeah, and it happens with guys too, I'm sure. Which I think I'm gonna find out myself, because I think I want to put myself.
Oh, that would be really interesting.
Into the whole like kind of not like a bodybuilder, but like the men's physique show. Just so because I like to test these diets and these other like training methods, and I like to see for myself how mentally and physically challenging that whole thing would be.
Yeah, no, that's definitely interesting. Like, I think it's very dangerous because there's an experiment, I think it's called the Minnesota experiment, where they took healthy men and put them on a very restricted diet for like only a couple of weeks. A lot of these men developed eating disorders because they're so restricted, like very restricted, not like a slight deficit. So I think like messing with that is really dangerous. And like also these binge attacks after, like some people just can't stop eating anymore. I think it's brutal, and nobody, like, everybody glorifies it. Like it's great, it's a competition. But besides the fact that you take a lot of stuff that's not good for your body, you're depriving it. You dehydrate, of course. And I think it's so bad, and everybody thinks it's so great. But
unless like you have like you know, you're getting checked up with your doctor, or you have a registered dietitian, you know, somebody that has a lot of
resources,
life experience, like coaching you through the whole thing. For like a new person to jump into it and like not know what they're doing, like it could be dangerous. And you can do a lot of actual like metabolic damage, like with these like crazy strict caloric deficit diets, like because like men especially, they're trying to like cut down to like 5%, 3% body fat, which is so low.
That's crazy.
Plus there is a water, there's a water, what's it called? Water something cycle. It's basically like you're limiting the water that you have so that you can dry out the skin so that you look even leaner, right? And right after a show, like I think Jen did it for 3 years, maybe even 4 years, but like literally the whole back room of the show was filled with like donuts, desserts, and everybody's like ready to go. They're like, okay, we're going on stage.
Let's get this shit over with so we can go back there and eat.
Yeah, I would like to actually experiment with that and see like how it really is.
That's very interesting because I've been watching all your videos. It's like also with Max, it's so cute. He's such an addition. Where is he?
Max,
you want to do a bodybuilding show? Get on stage?
First of all, thank you so much for like going on this rant with me. I would love to, if you want, we can do like a second part. I would be super down for that, just to discuss like, you know, all these myths or what people think, and just, you know, to bring some clarification in there. And I want to tell the people, you got to check out Rob, the Marinos. I'm going to link everything. Also, plug everything you want. Like, he's an online coach, so if you're interested in that, shoot.
So I'm an online coach. I'm a certified personal trainer, certified nutrition coach. I own a gym. I've been personal training for like 12 years, and I've been doing these diets and exercise plans since I was 12. So, man, almost 20 years, like 18 years.
That is crazy.
I have certifications, but I also have real life experiences. So if you're interested in online coaching, you can message me on Instagram, and I'd be happy to help you out.
Awesome. So if you need any help, he's the professional. He's gonna help you guys out. And yeah, let me know if you want a second part with Rob. I really enjoyed that talk. That was really awesome. And I'm going to link everything, your social media, do you have a website?
You can visit, if you want to, visit savefitct.com. You can fill out a form there, and I can basically message you through that system. Or Instagram, right? Instagram's like the easiest thing. I feel like Instagram is everyone's like business, like, just message me on Instagram, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. But yeah, thank you so much, Rob. That was awesome. Yeah. And I would be super stoked for a part 2.
Yeah, we'll just keep ranting.
We just keep ranting, and you gotta take the rant, people. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And